Hi, I'm Dr. Fain. I'm going to be talking about the critical thinking process that needs to occur before you make a splint or an orthotic device. Splints consist of archetypes that are used to fabricate for various orthopedic or traumatic injuries, similar to a cast. When you have received an order from a medical doctor, you need to go through and ask yourself a variety of questions to make sure that you really have the prerequisite skills to be making that splint. So you're going to start out with, if we've gotten an order from the orthopedist or the hand surgeon, and say, am I familiar with the diagnosis? So as an example, we're going to say that the orthopedist has written an order for carpal tunnel. So in asking myself, am I familiar with carpal tunnel, I'm going to be looking at, do I understand the anatomy, the neurological impact, the functional impact, the precautions, the contraindications. So if I do understand all of that, then I can go down and answer that question yes. So I have met the cognitive requirements. So I can now proceed to the procedural aspects. So I'm going to ask myself, am I familiar with the type of splint for the carpal tunnel patient referral that we have just gotten? So in my instance, yes, I am familiar with it. I understand that it's a neurological condition where the median nerve is being compressed. And the whole premise for the splint behind the carpal tunnel is to put the carpal tunnel in neutral position and to alleviate some of the pressure on the median nerve. So I have met the requirements for the procedural. I understand the splint, the purpose, and the function, and so I have met the procedural requirements. And then I can go forth with drawing a pattern and fabricating the wrist cock-up splint. However, let's go back through this process and reflect on what we need to do if we do not answer these questions with a yes. So again, I'm going back up to the top. Am I familiar with carpal tunnel? So if I go and I do not understand what carpal tunnel is, then I need to communicate with the physician. I need to seek information from the handbooks, certified hand therapists, my coworkers, and the hand literature and get more familiar. If upon doing that, and I better understand that condition, then I have met the cognitive requirements. But if I don't understand it still and it doesn't make sense to me and I can't integrate it to be able to go forth with the splinting, then it's a no and I can't proceed with making the splint. But let's say that we did meet the cognitive requirements. So then we're going to go to the procedural aspect, where I'm going to ask myself, am I familiar with this splint? And remember, I just showed you this splint. Do I know how to draw the pattern? Do I know how to mold it and get it in the desirable position? So if I can say yes, then I'm going to go through and I met the procedural requirements. But if I don't know how to do this process, then I need to seek more information. Again, look at the splinting books, look at the handbooks, talk to certified hand therapists and the physician, and get all the necessary information to know how to draw the splint pattern, and in this case, a wrist cock-up splint. And then, if I understand it at that point, then I can go down and I've met the procedural requirements to go forth with making this wrist cock-up splint. If I still don't understand it and I'm having difficulty with drawing the pattern and getting from here to here, then I need to seek additional information with hand therapists, co-workers, and splint books so that I can meet the procedural requirements to proceed with making the splint. Otherwise, you could potentially cause more harm by fabricating a splint that really does not have good fit or does not meet the needs of the conditions and potentially cause more harm than you will do good. So in essence, this is a critical thinking flowchart that needs to happen before you proceed with fabricating a splint. So it means reflect on the whole process, critique your skills at each stage, cognitive, as far as the condition, the diagnosis, the precautions, the splint, and the fabrication process. Then you're going to look at the outcomes after you make the splint. Is it a good fit? Do I have them positioned the way I need to have them positioned? Do I have any sharp edges and so forth? Then I can say, if I have met all these requirements, that I've met my goals as a therapist fabricating this splint, as well as met the goals and needs for the client. So in essence, this is a reflective process that you need to do in order to be practicing an evidence base for splinting. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for additional splinting lectures. Thank you.